Hey guys, PokeDan here. Over the past 20 plus years of the Pokemon franchise, we've seen so many new mainstream games get released. Each new generation of games introduces a ton of exciting things for the franchise, such as new Pokemon, items, and new features, and it's features specifically that I want to focus on. Each generation of Pokemon has introduced its own new features, some of which only stuck around for that specific region, but others that continued to be implemented into future games, shaping the Pokemon franchise to be what it is today. Well, in this video, you join me to discuss my favourite features from the Pokemon games. What this list is essentially a top 10. So obviously, this is all in my own opinion, so be sure to let me know what your favourite features are down in the comments section. But with all that being said, let's get started with the video. Kicking off this list at the number 10 spot, we have two features from the Johto games that are still very relevant to this day, and they are the Day and Night Cycle and the addition of weather. When playing through the games nowadays, these features may seem quite minor. However, since these features have been included in the franchise, they've added a sense of realism to the Pokemon games. Let's be honest, no matter where you live, it's never always the same state of weather, and with regards to time, I think it's cool how you can boot up the game during the day or night, and the Day and Night Cycle will match what is currently the same time for you in the real world. Well, you know, unless you changed the time on your DS when you were younger just like me, to see what new damn Pokemon were in those swarms. Anyway, the addition of these features I think are very important, so I had to give them a mention. Next up, we have one of the newer features that was introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and it is Alonein Forms. When I first saw the announcement of regional Pokemon forms during the build-up for these games, I, like many others, was a fan. The idea of a Pokemon's design and type changing due to regional differences was sold to me the second I saw some of the Alolan forms. Forms like Vulpix and of course Exeggutor. Just like I mentioned with the last feature, I think this adds a bit of realism to the Pokemon games because different species do evolve to adapt differently to locations in the real world. If I'm completely honest, I love it when any Pokemon gets a redesign or evolution of some kind, and mainly for this reason, I love Alolan Forms. This feature seems as though it won't be returning in the Galar region, but I mean, we can always hope that it'll return at some point in the future of the series. The number 8 spot on this list is shared by two similar features, being Horde Encounters and SOS Battles. One of the biggest reasons why I love both of these features is due to how handy they are when it comes to the likes of EV training. But all that competitive muck aside, if I'm honest, I mainly like the features for shiny hunting. I know that some hardcore shiny hunters aren't a fan of hunting in the newer games due to reduced shiny odds, but that's never really bothered me. With Horde Encounters in Pokemon X and Y, I would legit just sit there for hours on end repeating the use of the same move Sweet Scent to encounter hordes faster. I really enjoyed whenever I found a shiny with this method, and here's some fun trivia for you guys. My first Horde Encounter shiny was a Murkrow when I was 13. I called that Murkrow a very disgraceful name indeed. I called it Barbie Bird, and yeah, I like SOS Battles for the same reason. Coming in at the number 7 spot on this list, we have one of the most important features that I'll be talking about today, abilities. This game mechanic was introduced in the Gen 3 games and it gave every Pokemon a special boost in some sort of way. Well, I do say that, however, there are some negative abilities, but as we all know, the majority of them are positive. Pokemon having abilities was a feature that stuck around in the games, and it's really handy when it comes to the likes of competitive battling. In the 5th generation, every Pokemon was also given a hidden ability. An ability which the Pokemon is able to have, however, it's quite rare. This feature is one that stuck around in the franchise for good reason, and I couldn't imagine what the newer games would be like if this was removed. Next up, we have a feature that only stuck around in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and it is Soaring. When I first saw this feature in the trailers for these games, I couldn't wait to explore the Hoenn region from the sky. Soaring saw the player summon one of the Eon duo to fly across the sky on the Pokemon, and not only could you do neat tricks and view the stunning sights of Hoenn from above, but you could also access legendary Pokemon portals so you could then challenge these legends. I know I'm not the only one who thought that this feature was a lot of fun, but I understand why it failed to return in future games. Even though it was a one-time feature, I still enjoyed it while it lasted. At the number 5 spot, we have another feature from the Pokemon Sun and Moon games, and it is Polka Ride. With the Soaring feature that I previously mentioned, it could be used as a substitute for the flying HM, and in a way, it was the first step in the extinction of HMs. Let's be honest, we all dislike the fact that HMs were needed to get around in the game and that they took up a move slot of one of your team members. So when it was revealed that in the Gen 7 games that Polka Ride would be replacing HMs, I'm pretty sure that's something we were all quite pleased about. As well as this, it was just fun in Gen 7 when you could summon a Pokemon and run around like an idiot. I mean, we've all done something like this riding on the Tauros, right? Just me? Either way, I'm a massive fan of this feature and it deserved to be on this list. Coming in at the number 4 spot on this list, we have the breeding feature that was introduced in the Gen 2 games. Just like the day and night system and weather features, I can't imagine Pokemon games these days without breeding. First of all, it's a cool method for shiny hunting, what with the Masuda method. But the main reason myself and everyone likes this feature is because it's really handy for competitive battling. If you so choose to go down the route of breeding your competitive Pokemon, there's nothing quite like the task of making sure everything is perfect on the Pokemon that you've bred. I for one really enjoy preparing for a competitive battle by breeding some new Pokemon to use. Coming in at the number 3 spot is a feature that was introduced in Pokemon X and Y, and it is Mega Evolution. When I first saw the reveal of this new feature as a kid, I was really looking forward to getting the Gen 6 games. Most of us have probably wondered when we were younger if there were any Pokemon that could evolve beyond the typical 3 stages. So with Mega Evolution pushing this even further, it was just nice to see. As well as this, I've mentioned it earlier, but I love whenever an older Pokemon gets a change in its design. So seeing all the Mega Evolutions for Pokemon that were already established within the franchise was really cool. I feel like no new Mega Evolutions will be revealed anytime soon, but I do like the roster that we have. Some of my personal favourite Mega Forms are Blastoise and Garchomp. Only just missing out on the top spot, and in at number 2 we have Shiny Pokemon. Although the Gen 2 games aren't my ultimate favourite games within the franchise, they really did introduce some amazing features that would stick around for a long time. And Shiny Pokemon was just that. There's no better feeling than playing through any Pokemon game and you happen to stumble across a shiny Pokemon. Initially, most people are quite worried about messing up their chance to catch the shiny, but if you do manage to capture the Pokemon, it always feels so great. There are even people who devote their time to hunt for shinies, and having done this myself, it's always so rewarding when you find what you've been hunting for. Although it's just a colour swap for a Pokemon, it's still a feature that is adored by almost everyone. And if Game Freak chose to remove shinies one day, I'm sure that all hell would break loose. And finally, my number 1 feature is Pokemon following you. Oh, and also overworld Pokemon, since that's essentially the same thing, or at least it's very similar. Pokemon following you was first introduced in Pokemon Yellow when Pikachu would follow the player. However, it got so much love from the fans in the Gen 2 remakes when any Pokemon could follow you. It just felt so cool that your team members could properly explore the region by your side. Pokemon Let's Go, even though I'm not a huge fan of the games, brought back this feature, and it was cool seeing Pokemon following you in the new graphics. And something else Let's Go introduced was overworld Pokemon. Watching people play through the games, it was so cool to see wild Pokemon running around in the overworld. Shield. And I'm so happy that I can experience this for myself in Pokemon Sword and Shield when this feature will be returning. But anyway guys, with all that being said, that pretty much wraps things up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Also, be sure to let me know what your favourite features are in Pokemon down in the comment section. But with all that being said, for now, I've been PokeDan, you've been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time.